After thousands of conversations with Muslims, I found that one word tends to end conversations in a hurry. And it probably isn't what you're thinking. Welcome. My name is Thaddeus, and you're watching Reasoned Answers. My goal is to provide careful analysis of theological issues, especially related to the intersection of Christianity and Islam. I care deeply about the truth, and for that reason I've engaged thousands of Muslims in conversation. I'll often start by pointing out an error in a Muslim comment, or simply asking a question. A conversation starts up, perhaps goes through several rounds of replies, and then suddenly it just stops when I say one specific word. And I think that's actually a good thing, as I'll explain in a minute. You might be thinking that the magic word is pedophile, that the Muslim will leave because I insulted their prophet's blessed marriage to the 6-year-old Aisha and subsequent consummation of the marriage at 9. You would be wrong. Almost all Muslims will either deny it happened or offer their favorite excuse as to why it was okay back then. You might think it's terrorism or jihad, but you'd be wrong again. Most Muslims are ready with an answer. The answer will vary, either denial it exists or outright acceptance of violence as part of Islam. But an answer is usually ready. No, the one word no Muslim wants to hear isn't these or other problems in Islam. It is something much more fundamental. The word is evidence. As long as we're speaking in general terms, my conversational partner is comfortable. As long as it's all rhetorical and statements of belief, all is fine. But the second I ask him for evidence to back his claims, almost invariably, a panic button goes off in the Muslim's head, and the conversation ends very quickly. The lack of solid reasons behind belief is no doubt not unique to Islam. Lots of people have strong opinions backed by almost no actual evidence for all kinds of things, but the problem is especially deep-rooted in Islam. And the reason for that goes back to the Quran itself. I've listened to many ex-Muslim testimonials on why they left Islam. A common, nearly universal theme is that the apostate was told over and over and over again as a child not to ask religious questions, to turn off their brain and simply blindly accept what their imam told them. Likely, few parents even know why they teach this, themselves having absorbed the idea from their own parents, who in turn learned it from their parents, and so on. But some do know why. In Islam, they're called the scholars, and their reasoning is found in the Sharia law. It is forbidden to share Sharia with non-Muslims, but fortunately, the most popular Sharia manuals have been translated to English and made their way to the public nonetheless. In Reliance of the Traveler, the most popular such manual, we read that forbidden knowledge includes anything which can cause doubt. Doubt is a very serious issue in Islam. A fatwa on islamweb.net declares, "A person who doubts is not a believer, as being firm upon belief is a condition for the validity of belief." Likewise, Islam QA remarks, "Whoever has doubts about Allah, the angels, the messengers, the resurrection, paradise, hell, or anything that has reached him of what Allah said in the Quran, or what was conveyed by his messenger, is a disbeliever." If one doubts, one isn't a true Muslim. That really puts Muhammad Hijab's famous rant in perspective, doesn't it?
Wallahi, some people have been calling me and giving me some emails. Brother, I have doubts. What doubts, man? What embarrassment is that? Why you have doubts? Why? What kind of man are you anyway? Huh? What kind of woman are you? What kind of Muslim are you? What kind of Muslim are you? And these weak Muslims in the West, sending me emails and this, I'm losing my face and I'm a Hafiz, I'm losing, get the hell out, you are never a strong believer in the first place, you weakling. You're a weakling.
To be clear, those aren't some extremist websites I've quoted, but rather well-respected Orthodox sites visited by millions of Muslims monthly. And ultimately, these rulings go back to the Quran itself. Surah 49:15. The believers are only the ones who believed in Allah and His Messenger, and then doubt not. Only those who doubt not can be counted as true believers. And what causes doubt? Knowledge without proper understanding. Either one has to know everything the scholars know, or blindly follow what they teach. Reliance explains. As for the basic obligation of Islam, it is adequate for one to believe in everything brought by the Messenger of Allah, with absolute conviction, free of doubt. Whoever does this is not obligated to learn the evidences of the scholastic. What befits the common people and vast majority of those learning or possessing sacred knowledge is to refrain from discussing the subtleties of scholastic theology, lest corruption difficult to eliminate find its way into their basic religious convictions. There is some disagreement on what counts as doubt, but it is safer to simply not question anything at all. Thus, Muslim children learn to suppress real thoughts and fill their mind with empty rhetoric when it comes to religion, and most never put away such childish things. Which brings me back to why I think it's a good thing that the conversation typically ends when you ask for evidence. When the Muslim says that you're wasting their time, or that they are not a scholar, or simply disappears in response, realize that there are two possibilities. One is that they're not ready for honest inquiry, in which case, be glad they aren't wasting your time. The other is that they realize they can't answer, in which case the seed of doubt is planted and the argument won. You've planted the seed, the next Christian will supply the water, and God will make it grow. If, on the other hand, you find the rare Muslim who is willing to discuss the evidence, then stick with it as long as it takes. There are so many holes in the Islamic narrative that one could drive a caravan through it. Islam can't stand in the face of truth, and the Muslim willing to look at the evidence will soon be an ex-Muslim. Christianity is different. Christianity offers a God who is ready to meet you where you're at. In Mark 9, Jesus encounters a man whose son has been possessed since birth. The desperate father has tried all kinds of things to cure the boy, and even the disciples couldn't cast the demon out. The boy is brought to Jesus, and the father sheepishly asks, "But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us." And Jesus said to him, "If you can, all things are possible for one who believes." Immediately the father of the boy cried out and said, "I believe, help my unbelief." The man doubted. He didn't expect anything to happen, but he made the choice to trust Jesus anyway. Jesus didn't scold the father for his unbelief.
Get the hell out, you are never a strong believer in the first place, you weakling.
But instead cast the demon out, healing the boy. Christianity offers a big God who is ready to work with a little faith to overcome doubt. Islam, in contrast, offers a small God who can't handle doubt and demands the believer do all the work of deluding himself into blind belief. I challenge you to open your mind, earnestly seek truth, and let the big God take you into his loving arms, doubt and all. To learn more about the Islamic understanding of truth, click here. Thanks for watching.